Hello Cancer, Cancer Rising and Cancer Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card forecast for the week starting January 2nd, 2016. And a quick reminder for everyone, remember that tarot tutorships begin online on the 8th. So if you want to sign up for the online class, you do need to do so at my website, integrativemysticism.com. It's the same place you would go to sign up for a consultation with me. So what is going on with your astrology this week? Well, for the majority of the middle of the week, early to middle of the week, we've got the Sun in Capricorn in your partnership sector forming a lovely sextile to Mars in Pisces in your 9th house of travel, higher education, your spiritual life, as well as your broadcasting, anything that you have to do multimedia, do online. And this could actually be a glorious opportunity for a lot of you to cement or get some kind of discussion going with some kind of multimedia or online partnership in business. Or for those of you who are looking to maybe actually establish a collaborative or establish some kind of team or networking opportunity to build or expand on an online enterprise that you have. This is also a great time for love, especially when it comes to love traveling in and out from afar, or you are trying to maybe even expand the, I guess you could say, the horizons of your current love relationship. Maybe your partner's going to be showing a lot more interest in your spiritual life or your academic life, or maybe we'll be finding an opportunity to explore some kind of new horizon with our partner, somewhere where the two of us are completely foreign, something where the two of us are kind of be dropped in the middle of nowhere, so to speak, and actually get a chance to bond or rebond through the exploration of this new culture or this new activity. It's going to be really nice because, again, seeing our partner and ourselves in an area where that's still neutral ground but also very fresh and new can be a great way to, again, bond and cement that bond. Later on in the week, we've got Mercury retrograding into Sagittarius, into your 6th house of reputation and your work. And this is actually a really good thing, because it's only going to last for a little while, but Mercury's going to be sort of pulling you back into an opportunity to maybe get an old schedule back, or an old client back, or maybe even an old job back. And this is going to be a discussion, or I guess you could say a revisit to an idea or a proposition that was presented to you back between late October and early November of 2016. And maybe it wasn't the right time, or maybe it wasn't the right place, but now we have a chance to revisit this again before Mercury goes direct in this area at the beginning of next week. And this again could mean a second chance for you, or a second chance at an income opportunity for you and your job. So what's going on with your cards then, we may ask? Well, for your spiritual advice, we do have the card of Duira. Okay, and the card of Duira is all about paying attention to what needs nurturing. You know, what has become a little bit lopsided in our priorities. And this can happen, you know, sometimes something in our life takes up more time and energy than other things. It could be our job, it could be our kids, it could be our romantic life, but it's also about making sure that everything is getting the nurturing that it needs to thrive, not just survive. And so we've got to pay attention to where things are not as well-rounded as they could be. This card can talk a lot about an opportunity to, again, deepen the bond with somebody close to us, but also at the same time really make up for lost time with what's been neglected in terms of our priorities. You know, if we have been, you know, favoring one thing over the other on accident, or something's just been so high maintenance there's no time for anything else, this is the time to get everything back into balance for you, Cancer. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Temperance card inverted. And when we have the Temperance card, you know, in a reverse position, it can often talk about something that does need to come apart so it can come back together the right way. And this could actually have to do, again, with a big adjustment to your schedule, or a big adjustment to maybe even your commitment to a certain project or a certain client or a certain customer. Because the Temperance card reversed is basically saying we're kind of approaching a halfway point in a project or something that, and we're just kind of noticing it's not going to turn out the way it's supposed to. Luckily with the Temperance card reverse is that we're catching it early, and we may even find a way to either make more money or get a better job or get a position at this job by catching this early. Because the Temperance card reverse is also saying the reward goes to the person who's able to point out and correct the flaws in whatever this situation is or whatever this interview is, as opposed to somebody who's going to let it slide. So we don't want to, pretend it's not there. The Temperance card reverse can also indicate that it will be an extremely busy, albeit profitable, but busy week. But again, mind the Duira card. We don't want that to pull focus from everything else in our life. For your communications with air, we do have the Queen of Wands reversed. And the Queen of Wands reversed can often show up where there could be some conflicts with a friend or a relative, most likely a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, or a Sagittarius, or somebody with a lot of those qualities to them. And the Queen of Wands reversed is definitely an attention grabber, somebody who needs that attention. Sometimes they have a tendency to be a bit of a social climber, or maybe even somebody who's just a bit too high maintenance. They want all the attention on them. And you might notice that with the Queen of Wands reversed, some of the things they're asking for attention for, it could be a waste of time. And usually when we get the Queen of Wands reversed, it's somebody kind of doing, a power play. And deep down the power play could be a cry for help, but it's a power play nonetheless. And there could be a conflict with the way she's treating other members of your friendship circle or your family, or this may even be, some kind of power play that she's pulling on you. Now the important thing to pay attention to, though, with the Queen of Wands reversed is that we don't want to look for ways to excuse her behavior. We don't want to look for ways to, to give it a pass. This is an opportunity to give her what she wants while correcting that behavior and maybe even pointing out that this is not how you get what you want, especially not if you're trying to get everyone to like you. Because again, it's still an attention grab. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Nine of Cups upright. Now this card is actually really nice to have as a challenge because the Nine of Cups does talk about a wish getting granted. It's one of the quintessential yes answers. But sometimes we get what we want when, and it almost feels like it's too late. Or it's kind of like, oh, too late, I don't want it anymore, or I'm already burnt out on that, or, it was just too hard to get, or it was too complicated, right? Well, what the Nine of Cups upright is basically saying, screw those feelings. It is. Because with the challenge card, it's kind of saying, okay, yeah, we might be getting something too late. We might be getting something, that we really want that, was too hard to grasp and it was too stressful to even look at or talk about. But it is yours, and your challenge this week is going to be accepting it regardless of what it took to get there. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the Hierophant card inverted. And when the Hierophant card is inverted, it's basically saying you and a partner, you and a crush, are actually going to be getting closer by going against certain rules that maybe you've already set forth in the relationship, or certain rules or certain standards that you maybe place for new people, or that they place for new people. Because the Hierophant card reverse is basically saying beware of the trappings of what we might consider to be conventional romance, and things along those lines. We may find out that some rules or some relationship guidelines or relationship ideas put forth by, maybe our parents or maybe just, what we see just is not working for us. And the ownership of that is actually very liberating. Because with the Hierophant card inverted, it's saying that these rules are just not compatible with the relationship that you actually have, or the relationship that you want to have, or your true nature. And for you and your partner to accept that instead of trying to, to force a square peg into a round hole is actually an opportunity for the two of you to not only lose some stress, but to actually bond over the fact that you're kind of unique. And the same would go for those of you who are currently looking for new love. Pay attention to where a standard or an expectation is actually betraying the cause of actually having a new relationship. So that is your forecast. Cancer. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.